Hello everyone, I am women's football analyst Jacob Bernstein and welcome to my Spurs Women v Man United Women preview.
You came along, just like a song, and brightened my day. Who'd have believed that you were part of the dream? Now it all seems like years away. You know I can't smile without you. I never can smile without you. I can't laugh, I can't sing. I'm fighting it all to do anything, and I feel sad when you're sad. I feel glad when you're glad. If you only knew what I'm going through, I just can't smile without you.
This is the final WSL game before the winter break. It's not the final time Spurs will play. Spurs will actually face Man United away again next Sunday in the League Cup quarter-final. The next WSL game after this, after the winter break, will be on Sunday the 11th of January against Leicester. Last time out, Spurs beat Villa 2-1. It was a fantastic win, a 2-1 win. Olivia Holt with a last-minute goal. The unfortunate news off the back of that win is that Jess Naz got injured during the game, and it's been confirmed that she has sustained an ACL injury. So, yeah, wishing her the best of luck with her recovery. That's unfortunately Spurs' third ACL injury of the season after Ella Morris sustained one over the summer, and then Maitea Roz suffered one a couple of months ago. Spurs are currently 5th in the WSL at the moment, and regardless of their result on the weekend, they can't drop any places. So the lowest that they can finish going into the winter break is 5th, with potential if results go their way to finish higher. Spurs are currently on 19 points, one behind their total for 24-25, which is incredibly impressive considering we haven't even reached halfway into the season yet. And Spurs are 1 point behind their opponents on the weekend, United. So if Spurs do beat United, they will go ahead of them. Regardless of what happens on the weekend, it's been a hugely successful first half of the season for Spurs. So far, we've got 6 wins out of 10. We've got 4 clean sheets with Lisa Kopp, Claire Hunt and Toka Koga forming a really strong goalkeeping and centre-back partnership. The 2 signings who we signed in the summer, Katinka Tandberg and Toka Koga, have been really, really good acquisitions and very successful. And in terms of players coming in January, Spurs have already announced Sinja Gopset coming in, which is really, really exciting. And there's been rumours as of the last couple of weeks of Julie Blackstad, another young Norwegian player, and Micah Hermano potentially coming in on loan from Chelsea. So again, I think that shows the strength of Spurs, and I really like the ambition of kind of getting Gopset and then potentially some other players on the horizon coming in. Looking to our opponents on the weekend, Man United. Man United did have a strong start to the season. They were unbeaten in their first 7 league games. However, it started to go slightly downhill from there. They had recent losses to Aston Villa 1-0 and Man City in the derby. They lost 3-0 just before the international break. They did regain some of their form with a 2-1 win against West Ham in their last WSL game. Shakira Martinez for West Ham scored an incredible bicycle kick before Dominique Janssen scored a free kick to win the game for United relatively late on. United did play in the Champions League in midweek, which means that perhaps they're not as well rested, but they did rest a couple of their key players. They rested Ella Toon, Jess Park, Zigiotti Olma, and Dominique Janssen. And that showed they did lose 3-0 to Lyon, who Lyon are a fantastic side, but United were at home in that game. And they did also lose their previous Champions League game before the international break, 5-2 to Wolfsburg. In terms of key players for United, Jess Park has probably been their standout player of the season. She's impressed since her swap deal with Grace Clinton. Jess Park moving from City to United, Grace Clinton moving the other way. And Park's got 4 goals and 2 assists. Ella Toon has been really good this season as well. She's got 2 goals and 5 assists making her the league's top assister. Melvie Mallard had a really good spell at the beginning of the season. She's scored 5 WSL goals, which is the most for United, second most in the league. And Maya Letizia has been an ever-present in the side. She's played every WSL minute for United this season, and she also played every WSL minute for United over the course of last season. So yeah, really, really strong season. And in terms of how United usually set up, they usually set up in a 4-2-3-1 formation with Fallon Tullis-Joyce in goal, Jade Riviere, Maya Letizia, Dominique Janssen and Anna Sandberg in defence. Dominique Janssen, we've kind of seen her play in defence and in midfield, but Millie Turner has been injured this season, so Dominique Janssen has been primarily a defender. They've set up with a midfield duo of Hinata Miyazawa and Julia Zagati-Olma. And then the kind of three in front of the attack are Melvie Mallard, Ella Toone and Jess Park, with Elizabeth Turland up front. I think United have struggled quite a bit with squad depth. They can't rotate that much just because they don't have the depth. They've lost, as I said, they have Millie Turner injured. Celine Bizet announced that she's expecting her first child, so she's out. We've seen a bit of Frodolina Rolfer, who United signed in the summer. Leah Galton hasn't played as much. But yeah, I expect United to set up in a relatively similar way to what they have in the last couple of games and throughout the season. In terms of Spurs, I think our team has followed suit quite similar to the rest of the games, with Lisa Kopp in goal, Amanda Nilden, Tokokoga, Claire Hunt and Ashley Neville in defence. Molly Bartrip did start the Villa game. That was her first start of the season coming back from injury. I think it's hard to know whether Martin Ho will start Molly Bartrip, but I've gone with a Tokokoga and Claire Hunt partnership for now. There's potential Koga might have been rested because she came back from international duty with Japan. But yeah, I think it just shows such great strength and depth from Spurs that we now have three really good options at centre-back. I think the midfield three will stay the same. Evelina Summerlin, Drew Spence and Olivia Holt. And I think the front three will be Matilda Wimberg, Beth England and Martha Thomas. Martin Ho obviously announced that Katinka Tandberg is out until after the winter break, and Jess Naz is obviously out with an ACL injury, which kind of breaks through, gives an opportunity for Martha Thomas to get a start. She hasn't started the WSL game this season. She's made 8 substitute appearances. She hasn't scored in the WSL since December 2023. That was the North London Derby win. She did score for Spurs in the Subway League Cup a few weeks ago against Bristol City. So there's a bit of a chance for her to gain some momentum with some of the players that we mentioned out. Although Thomas is primarily a 9, we've actually seen her in play on the right wing quite a few times this season in her substitute appearances, and I'm guessing because Beth England will probably start in the 9, we'll probably see Martha Thomas in the right wing position on the weekend. In terms of prediction, I think this one's quite hard to predict because Spurs are coming into this in really good form. United are coming into it in pretty mixed form, and there's only a point that separates them in the league table. In this fixture last season, United did win 3-0. They scored 2 almost identical goals with Celine Bizet off the right, crossing into Elizabeth Turland, who scored a double. Turland is really threatening. She's only scored 3 WSL goals this season, but she did score 10 last season, so we know the impact she can have. I'll go 2-1 United as my prediction, with Jess Park and Elizabeth Turland scoring for United and Beth England scoring for Spurs. I don't think this is a reflection on Spurs. I think United will have more quality, especially at home. But it will be an interesting tactical battle, especially with the fact that Martin Ho used to be the assistant manager at United. Quite a few of Spurs' staff have come over from United. And also the tactical battle of the fact that we're then playing them the week later in the League Cup. But yeah, I think that's all for my preview today. I will be back after the game to do a review, which will be my last bit of content before the winter break. If you're new to Harry's channel, please subscribe, and if you're new to me or want more Spurs Women content, feel free to follow me on Twitter at JacobBurn14. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you soon.
You came along just like a song and brightened my day. Who'd have believed that you were part of the dream? Now it all seems